In this video we're going to talk about the humble website contact form. Here we go. The reason we're going to talk about contact forms on your website is because it ties in really closely with probably the two main aims of your website. So for most businesses, the first thing is you want to have your contact details clearly visible on the website so when people come they can contact you. The second thing is you want them to come to your website and leave their details so you can actually contact them back and follow them up for the sale or the service delivery. So that's the two main goals of about 95% of the websites out there, is either be contacted or get the contact details so you can contact them. And that's why the contact form on your website is so important and why we're talking about it today. So before we go into some of the best practices and some things you can set up on your website, I just want to give you a couple of the tools that are really good options. The thing to take away too, I guess, is that often the contact form on your website might be the first point of call or the first place that people interact with you in your business. And so if the contact form is really hard to use or it's a difficult experience, then that's going to reflect badly on that first impressions that they're making about your business. Alright, so the first tool to check out is called Wufoo Forms. This is an online form builder where you go into their platform and you can create a form. It could be a survey, it could be a contact form, it could be an order form where they can actually tie it in with PayPal and they can order from you. But once you've built your form, you can then take that code and put it on your website. It'll embed that form on your website, or you can link people back to just a link and they'll have a self-hosted form which does all the work for you. And the other good thing about Wufoo is you can take the code, put it into Facebook and create a Facebook app or a Facebook tab that allows people to leave their details and you can capture their information from your Facebook page. So that's also pretty useful. If you're using the WordPress platform, then you've got a lot of choices that makes things really easy. One of the great plugins to look at is Contact Form 7. That's very flexible and very easy to use. Again, it's free. And the other one to look at is Grunion Form. It allows you to create a very quick and easy contact form for your website. If you're looking for a really pro version and you're happy to pay a little bit of money, then Gravity Forms is one of the pick of the WordPress plugins out there. And it gives you a lot of features and there's a large support and developer community around that. So that's Gravity Forms, you can check that one out. Alright, so let's get into the ways you can actually improve your forms. So the first thing, I guess, is just the mindset of someone who's come home after a long day at work, sitting in front of the computer at 9 o'clock at night and trying to find a solution for their problem, comes across your website. They're going to have low energy levels, they'll be distracted by kids, family, everything else that's going on. So the rule with contact forms is to keep it simple. You want to make it very easy to fill out and actually look at all the fields you've got there and just think about if you actually need to collect that information or not, or if you just really need their name and a phone number to contact them back. Try and minimise the amount of compulsory fields you have. Now quite often you'll see them on a form with an asterisk, and that's letting the people know that they do need to fill that out. The other way you can do that, or another way of approaching it, is the form fields which are actually optional, put optional in text next to that so they know they can quickly skip those fields if they don't want to fill it out and they're in a hurry to contact you. If you're in the situation where you're getting so many inquiries that it's a hassle and you want to basically better vet the people that are coming through your website, well, then you can start adding fields back in to qualify your clients or your prospects as they come through. But until that's a problem, it's best just to keep it simple, minimum fields that you actually need to get the job done. If you do have a really long form and you do need to collect all that information, something to consider is actually breaking that form down over 2 pages. What that does is it doesn't have such a big visual impact when people first get to the form. They'll start filling it out, and then when they get to the second page, they're psychologically invested in filling out the form, and so you've got a higher chance of them actually completing the form than if you had all the long form fields on the one page when they first got there. If you've got a form field there asking for information which people may be reluctant to give you, it could be sex or age, put some text explanation or a comment next to it explaining why you need that information. That's going to put them more at ease and give them a context to why you're asking for that information. If you're looking for specific information from people who are filling out the form, look at drop-down menus so you can actually pre-populate that with the choices that you want people to select from. But don't forget to put an other section in there in case you haven't quite nailed what they're looking for and they want to contact you about something else. That also helps you route the inquiry within your company, so you know which department or who in the company that the inquiry should go to, if you can break it down to the area of the interest the person's asking about. If you're a website that gets a lot of mobile phone traffic, so a cafe or a restaurant or a motel, then have a look at your form, your contact form, how it works on a mobile phone. In this case, you really want to be using things like radio boxes or check boxes and drop-down menus again, because the interface on the phone makes it quick to select those rather than try and sit there and type out text on a small mobile phone screen. Okay, Captchas. These are the squiggly little letters that you'll see on forms that are designed to make sure that you're human and you're filling out the form. And the reason they're there is to defeat sort of robot programs that will come along and try and fill out your form and just go from website to website. But the hassle is that they're also a restriction or a barrier for you actually getting real people to fill them out. Because some Captchas are so difficult to read that it's just off-putting, and if people can't get it once or twice, they're just going to keep moving on to the next business, to the next supplier. So unless you're getting a lot of spam through your contact form, leave the Captcha, the are you human type thing, off the website. Lots of form programs and form scripts use a validation system, where if you're looking for a particular format for an email address or a phone number, the form will come back and let people know if they've got it wrong or if they haven't filled out a required field. So just check that that's working okay and there's enough text around that so people know what to actually put in the field, the right format to put in, and that any error messages that do display if they get it wrong are clear enough that they know how to go back and fill it out. It's really frustrating if you're filling out a form and getting an error message and you don't know what part's wrong, or you don't know the right format of the input that the field's asking for. So just check that it works normally. Get your family and friends to go through the form and just test that. Does your form have a thank you message? It's just nice feedback when someone's filled out a form that there's some kind of either message comes back or they're redirected to another page that lets them know that their form got through okay and that they can expect to hear back from you. So just kind of either feedback loop or a message letting them know that it's gone through and it's been submitted. And the other thing is, on that thank you page, is set the expectation of when you're going to contact them back. So if it's going to be a day or two, let them know. If you're going to be contacting them back in a couple of hours, let them know as well, because that way they know when to expect to hear from you and they won't sort of be waiting and wondering and get frustrated if they haven't heard from you by the end of the day. Should you have a contact form on your homepage? Well, it really just depends, and you should probably test it and see if it makes any difference. But if you're in an industry like a locksmith or a plumber, somewhere where people are looking for your website and looking for information, if you contact them back straight away or quotes, then yeah, it's a really good idea. Is have it really visible on the front page of your homepage, someplace where they can leave the details and get a call back. If you've got a really long page, so by the time people scroll all the way to the bottom, it's a fair way back up to the top of the page, then think about having two contact forms. So one near the top of the page and one down near the footer of the page. So when people scroll to the bottom, they can still contact you from the bottom of the page without having to navigate back up to a contact page or the top of the page. And while you're at it, you may just want to have the contact form in a small widget down the side of your page, and that can go on all your pages if you really after people to contact you back, rather than just having the one place on your website, the one contact page where they have to go to leave a message. Another really good idea for the Contact Us page is to have a link to your frequently asked questions either above or below the contact form. This gives people a chance to actually go and see what everyone else has asked and the most common questions people ask, and they may be able to get the answer just reading your website rather than have to go through the process of contacting you and then getting the answer back that way. So that can save your staff a lot of time on common problems, but also again, if you think about that person who's surfing the web after work, 9 o'clock at night, they just want the answer to something, if they can get that from your frequently asked questions, that's going to be the best result for them. Should you have your email address on your contact page or just have a contact form? Look, I prefer to be able to contact people with an email address. When I get to a page and it's just a form, that sort of limits what you can do. You can't send them files and things like that. So as a general preference, I would put my email address on the contact page separate to the actual contact form. Again, if you're having a problem with lots of spam and robots coming through your website and basically harvesting that email address off the text, then you can remove it. Or the other thing you can do is just put a couple of spaces in there, or change the little @ symbol to the actual letters AT. And any human will actually be able to sort of pick that up and put that back into an email address. And it just defeats the robots, the very simple ones. But yeah, on balance of things, I would throw your email address in as well as a contact form on the Contact Us page. Look, if any of these tips have been useful, what I've got, if you're watching this video on our website, redcliffemarketinglabs.com.au, below this video you'll find a link to download a cheat sheet that runs you through a whole heap of the design considerations when you're building a website Contact Us form. So there's a whole heap of information about contact forms. It's a very humble thing, but it's really it goes in depth and there's a lot of things to consider. So if I've missed something and you've got a great idea about contact forms or something that's really works for you, then again, make a comment below this video. I'd love to hear your ideas and be able to improve on what we've got here already. And the same thing, if you found it really useful, if you picked up a tip and you were able to apply it to your website, let us know and leave a comment. I'd love to get your feedback. If you want some personalised help with your website, get in contact with me through Redcliffe Marketing Labs. My name is Mick Cullen and we'll be back next week with another video. Cheers.